Hello there. This is OBN Voice for the People. I'm Anwar Khalil. Prime Minister of Ethiopia, Dr. Abiy Ahmed, says economy of the country is reviving while inflation has decreased from 15% to 12% this fiscal year. The Premier has responded to the questions raised from the members of Parliament. Olma Bain reports.
Prime Minister Dr. Abiy Ahmed says works that are being done on enhancing revenue of the country were very weak, adding credit of the country on the other hand is high. The Premier said being patient is very important to smoothly solve the problems in this regard.
አሁን የምናደርገው የደሞዝ ጭማሪ እንዳንጨምር ያደረገን ከ4-5 ወር በፊት ኢትዮጵያ ውስጥ የነበረው የምግብ ግሽበት ዋጋ 15% ነበር ኢንፍሌሽን.
What limits us to make salary increment is the inflation of food price in Ethiopia. This inflation was 15%, but it goes down from time to time. Now it is on 12%. So this is great success. We have to reduce it to 1 digit. But if we make salary increment, it will grow up again. Prime Minister Dr. Abiy said the government has opened doors for private sectors to enhance their product and productivity.
Energy ላይ ጀነሬት ማድረግ ባለፈው የተወያየንበት ጉዳይ ለፕራይቬት ሴክተር የሰጠንበት ምክንያት
The reason why we gave generating energy to the private sector is to scale up the producing capacity of the sector through using different mechanisms. This is great economic reform. Moreover, we have discussed with various international institutions, especially African Development Bank, to invest more on energy. Investment is very important for Ethiopia in many ways. Investment brings us not only knowledge but also capital. It will also minimize unemployment rate in the country. So unless we use investors to the extent of our needs, we couldn't bring changes that we want. The Premier underscored that the focus of the government is to conclude projects that were started so far than designing new projects.
መንገድ አፈጻጸማችን አንዳንድ ቦታ ላይ 0% ያለበት አለ 10-15-20 ያለበት አለ.
Our implementation of projects, especially on roads, are very weak. There are projects, for instance, roads, those are on 0, 10 and 20% and so on. So let us complete them first. However, this year road project budget is 38.5 billion birr. This is huge budget. The reason that we couldn't be succeed is our budget and demand is not balanced. Our demand is higher. Dr. Abiy stressed that focusing on completing project has significant role on economic improvement of the country. He added, developing culture of supporting each other has its own importance in speeding up the development of the country at large.
In related news, Prime Minister Dr. Abiy Ahmed says the border issues between regional states should be settled through discussion. The Premier stated that free movement of citizens should not be limited by boundary of regional states. Mukhtar Haji reports.
Prime Minister Dr. Abiy Ahmed, while answering questions from members of the parliament, said problem of border issues between regional states would have to be solved by discussion.
It is impossible to demarcate place between Oromo and Sidama people because those people have a strong connection of blood and kinship. The two people have great wisdom of solving problems. So the two regional states should have to discuss ways of solving such border issues.
Dr. Abiy underscored that every Ethiopian youth have a right to search for a job everywhere in the country.
Every unemployed person of Sidama, Oromo, Walaita and anyone has the right to search for job opportunities everywhere in the country.
Prime Minister Dr. Abiy Ahmed explained that if Ethiopia registered sustainable rapid growth, it would create job opportunities to foreign citizens as well.
If possible and we grow up economically, our door is open to citizens of Dubai, Saudi Arabia and Kuwait because today those countries have been hosting many Ethiopians and providing them job opportunities.
The Premier has also raised the border dispute between Ethiopia and Sudan. He said Africa has been suffering from artificial border demarcated by the colonialists during the colonial period. Accordingly, Ethiopia and Sudan have been working together to solve border disputes through discussion.
I have met with the Sudanese president more than 3 or 4 times. In our meeting, the first agenda we raised was about the issue of border. We've agreed that the farmers around the border should continue their life. We want to pull back both military forces to the camp from the area. But in general, discussion is mandatory for everything in this regard.
The Ethiopian Ministry of Foreign Affairs announced that Prime Minister of Ethiopia, Dr. Abiy Ahmed, will travel to Europe next week for an official visit. The Premier will discuss with various leaders of European countries and Ethiopian citizens during his stay in Europe. Olma Bain has the details.
A spokesperson of Ministry of Foreign Affairs Mallas Alam said reforms and changes have been registered by reform leaders in the country. The spokesperson said the changes that have been seen in the country so far are initiating various countries to work with Ethiopia.
Different countries' leaders have been showing an interest to work with us so as to sustain the changes and improvements registered in the country.
Mallas noted that Ethiopia becomes a center of peace and security for Horn of Africa, and it has been strengthening its socio-economic and political relations with the neighboring countries.
Ethiopia has got recognition for its role in solving and smothering the security challenges in the region. Now the Horn of Africa becomes calm down and even starts moving towards development.
Mallas Alam noted that relations that Ethiopia has made with international monetary institutions has brought significant financial support. Mallas said Ethiopian Prime Minister Dr. Abiy Ahmed will travel to France and Germany to strengthen socio and political relations with the countries. The Premier would also meet about 25,000 Ethiopian diaspora resides in different European countries during his stay in Europe.
Thank you for watching. Coming next is an info program. I talked to an author from the States, from the United States of America, and she is also activist, a human rights activist. Join that. Bye-bye.